Good morning, fifth grade. We're ready for math lesson 160. We're going to start out this morning with taking a fairly large number and rounding it to various places. So I'm going to tell you what place I want you to round it to, and then you give the answer and I'll tell you what the correct answer is. So first of all, I would like you to round this number to the nearest 1,000th place. So the first thing you do is find the 1,000th place, which is right here. That means 6 is your determining digit. So 6 tells you whether or not to round this up or keep this the same. And then all numbers after the 1,000th place are changed to zeros. So our answer for that would be 150,274,000. Now round to the nearest 1 millionth place. Since this is the 1 millionth place, this is the number you round. 2 is your determining digit, and all the numbers after the 0 are changed to zeros. This would be rounded to 150 million. Now round to the nearest tens place. This is the tens place. 4 is the determining digit. All numbers after the number we're rounding get changed to zeros. 150,273,690. Now let's go ahead and take a decimal and round this a couple times. So first of all, let's round it to the nearest tenths place. So 1 is our tenths place, 3 is our determining digit. We're going to drop any numbers after the number we're rounding. So 1/10 would be our decimal. Now what if we want to round it to the hundredths place? 9 is our determining digit, and we're dropping anything after we round our decimal. So it would be 14/100ths would be our new decimal. Now I have some cards, and I would like you to reduce them to the lowest terms. And then we're going to go over our fractions and the decimals that go with them that we learned in the last couple days. So first of all, reduce 4/16 to the lowest terms. 1/4. Reduce 24/30. 4/5. Reduce 6/9. 2/3. 3/4. 1/2. 2/3. 2/5. 1/5. 1/3. And 3/5. Now let's go over our fractions. Remember, in the last couple of days we had a couple charts in your lesson with fractions that had decimals with them, and they are good for you to remember. So let's go over how we remember them and what the fractions are for them. So remember 1/2, the decimal is 0.5 or 5/10. It's kind of like money. 1/2 of a dollar is 50 cents. That's how it is for 1/2, 1/4, and 3/4. Just think of how it is when you're working with money. 1/4 is 25/100ths. 3/4 is 75/100ths. Now 1/5, whenever we have our denominators of 5, let's just go over these, just looking here again. So we have a denominator of 5, so the decimal is going to be double the numerator. So here we have 2/10, okay? Next, 2/5, the decimal will be double the numerator, so 4/10. So when you have a denominator of 5, the decimal is double the numerator. So this would be 6/10, and this would be 8/10. Okay, now we have fractions with a denominator of 8, and the fractions with a denominator of 8 begin with, they have the pattern of 25 and 75 in the decimal, okay? 1/8 and 3/8 begin with their numerator. So this is 125,000. This is 375,000. Okay? And then 5/8 and 7/8 begin with one more than their numerator, and then they follow the 25/75 pattern. So 625,000 and 875,000. Okay, then 1/3 and 2/3, if you can make them a fraction in larger terms, you would make it maybe 3/9 and 3/9 and 6/9. Then remember, fractions with a denominator of 9 is the numerator repeating. Okay, so if you would change this to 3/9, it has a denominator of 9, so that means you just repeat the numerator. So it would be 3/10 repeating. And this, if you make it a larger fraction, make it 6/9. It would be, when it's a denominator of 9, it's the numerator repeating. So it would be 6/10 repeating. And then we have 1/6 and 5/6. And let's just go ahead and look at the decimals for those. So we have 16 hundredths with the 6 repeating, and 5/6 is 83 hundredths with the 3 repeating. Now, if you can't remember all of these rules and hints and stuff with these decimals and fractions for now, it's okay. Give yourself time to learn them. Just when we go over them in your lesson, just try to remember as many as you can, and you'll learn with time. So just be patient, and you'll learn them more and more as we go. Okay, in our lesson today, we're talking about multiplying by 10, 100, and 1,000. Now, first of all, if I would have you count by ones, from 1 to 10, just count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now count with me from 10 by tens, from 10 to 100, okay? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Now, what was the difference between the numbers 1 to 10 and then the 10 to 100? What's the difference between them? Now, the second set of numbers that we counted by were 10 times as great as the first set, okay? Now, I have some numbers here on the board, and I would like you to multiply them by 10, okay? So multiply these numbers by 10. This would be 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Now, whenever we multiply by 10, we just annex a 0 to the number. Now, I realized I'm going back and forth on how to say this word, A-N-N-E-X. But when we're using it in math like this, we should say annex. So I think I said that for the first while, and then I thought it was supposed to be the other way, annex. But that's the noun form of the word. So we're supposed to say annex, not annex. Okay, so my bad. Sorry about that. It's annex when we're talking about it in math. Now, if you go ahead and count from 1 to 10 again with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now count with me by hundreds from 100 to 1,000. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000. Now what's the relationship between the first set of numbers and the second set of numbers that we counted by? Now, the second set of numbers was 100 times greater than the first set of numbers that we counted by. So I would like you to multiply these numbers by 100. This would be 100. 2 times 100 is 200. 300, 400, and 500. So when we multiply by 100, we simply annex 2 zeros to multiply by 100. Now, go ahead and multiply these numbers by 100. It should be just as easy. We just annex 2 zeros to all of them. So 9,200, 93 times 100 is 9,300. 94 times 100 is 9,400. Then we have 9,500 and 9,600. Now, what do you think that you should do if you're multiplying a number by 1,000? Now, it's the same thing, but instead of adding 1 zero or 2 zeros, since there are 3 zeros in 1,000, you're going to annex 3 zeros. So if we multiply these numbers by 1,000, it would be 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, and 5,000. If we would multiply these numbers by 1,000, you also just annex 3 zeros to them. So 92,000, 93,000, 94,000, 95,000, and 96,000. Okay? Now, what if we were going to multiply, I have a card here, and what if I would just get you to multiply it by 10, okay? If I would just get you to multiply this number by 10, let's just try that. Okay, so that would be our answer. Now, I'm just going to move these away. Now, what if we would multiply this number by 100? That would be our answer. Now, let's try multiplying it by 1,000. Let's put the 1,000 on the top. Okay, so we have okay, now we need to add here. We have 0, 0, 0, 9, 3, and 1. Okay, now remember our zeros at the end here of the decimal could just be erased. But notice something about multiplying our decimal by powers of 10. So we multiply by 10, and we simply move the decimal one place to the right. See that? It just moved one place to the right. We multiplied by 100, and we moved it 2 places to the right. 1, 2. We multiplied it by 1,000, and we moved it 1, 2, 3 places to the right. Okay, so that's what we do when we're multiplying by 100, by powers of 10. Now, sometimes if we would multiply, let's say we would multiply the number 1, let's multiply the number 0.1 by 10, okay? So we're going to multiply by 10, so that means we have 1, right? Now let's multiply it by 100. Let's multiply 0.1 by 100. So we have 0.1 times 100. And then let's try 0.1 times 1,000. Now, notice the same thing here. We simply move the decimal point. When we multiply 0.1 by 10, we move it one place to the right. Now here we multiply it by 100. We move it 2 places to the right, and we needed to annex a 0 here. Like if we would move it 2 places to the right, you have to annex a 0 and get 10. Here, multiply it by 1,000. You move it 3 places to the right, and you have to annex 2 zeros in that case, and you get 100. See that? So, to multiply a whole number by 10, 100, or 1,000, annex as many zeros as there are in the power of 10. To multiply a decimal by 10, 100, or 1,000, move the decimal point to the right as many places as there are zeros. And when you're multiplying a decimal by a power of 10, move the decimal point, and sometimes you have to annex the zeros in order to get your right answer. Work your lesson carefully. We're going to work with this a little bit, but we're going to just leave that for today's lesson. It was reviewing how to round our money amounts. But we're just going to focus in on what we are learning today and in our lesson. So let me know if you have any questions, and I hope your lesson goes well. Thank you.